The aim of this video is a general overview of every single skill in Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 and what the best use of these skills would be for. In the following vehicle gameplay videos, I will mention in the descriptions of some cars about which important skills are necessary, as well as what skills are the best to start out with for each class. Now, skills, or perks if you will, are a new feature in Hot Wheels Unleashed 2 Turbocharged, and there's a total of 15 of them divided into 3 types. Handling skills favor performance at the cost of boost, which are green. Boost skills favor boost at the cost of performance, which are blue. And obstacle skills give you immunities to on-track modules, which are yellow. There's 6 skills for each type except obstacles, which have 3 instead. And to purchase a skill, you'll need to use skill points, which is the blue currency right there. And every single one of them will cost 1 point each to unlock the skill for that car. When you've done that, you'll be able to put it on the vehicle and take it off anytime you like. That skill will stay unlocked for that vehicle until you get rid of the vehicle itself, provided it is not a gifted vehicle. Depending on the vehicle's current tier, you can only access and apply a specific number of skills. For stock, you can only put on 1 at a time and have access to 1 of each. Powered tier grants you access to 2 more handling and boost skills with 1 more obstacle skill, and you could apply 3 skills at once. Finally, Ultimates gives you access to 3 more of both, and 1 more for obstacles, while your slot count maxes out at 6. You can, however, gain a 7th slot just by putting on 4 of the same skill type, and you'll get the bonus 7th skill for that. And you can only do this at Ultimate tier for the currently selected car. Of course, if you don't want the 7th bonus skill, you could just take away the 4th skill of the same type and it will be gone. Not permanently though, you can still get it back by reapplying the 4th skill. And since there is no more than 3 obstacle skills, you only get a 7th skill for either handling or boost. Now these skills have varying effects. As mentioned earlier, handling skills make your vehicle perform better at the cost of boost. Boost skills make your vehicle's boost more effective at the cost of performance, and obstacle skills will give you immunities to specific track modules. You can have a mixture of anything you want as long as it'll work for you, and as long as it benefits the car the most. And as for the skills themselves, we'll go in order from handling to boost and to obstacles. Starting off with handling is maximum grip. This makes your car's drift handling sharper, but slows down the boost charging speed during your drift. This is not recommended for drifters because they already have high handling in the first place, so why would you need to emphasize more on the handling stat if the vehicle already has good handling to begin with? Rocket, heavy duty, off-road, and swift cars do benefit more from this, as well as cars in classes that shouldn't be in that class to begin with, like the custom Volkswagen STH and Drifter, the Volkswagen Golf GTI and Spec-Tite in Balanced, and even Nightburner in Heavy Duty. Lightning Dash increases the vehicle's acceleration, but slows down the passive gain of the vehicle's boost. This can be useful if the car doesn't have that great of an acceleration stat. Now, if you don't know what the passive boost gain means, basically it's a system that recharges slowly over time, whether your car is moving or being perfectly still. And since this is a stat increase, it also affects the regeneration of your boost a little bit. Useful for anything, but is most useful for heavy duty, off-road, and swift vehicles because they have good passive boost gains already. In Pursuit, makes you go faster when driving directly behind another car, but lowers the boost gain from slipstreaming. Really, why would speed in a slipstream matter more than boost? You don't gain much speed from slipstreaming anyway, or at least not in the current version of the game as of this video. The speed you gain from doing that is small and almost unnoticeable. Additionally, if you're out in front, then what's this going to do for you when you have nobody to drive behind? I personally don't find much use for this just because of that reason alone. Your speed isn't affected in slipstreams by that much anyways, so what's the point? Improved brakes. That's what it says on the tin can. Makes the vehicle's braking power more effective at the cost of passive boost gain. Basically like Lightning Dash, but more fixated on stopping power and brake effectiveness. This is a stat enhancement skill, but like with the first Unleashed game, braking power is a stat that does not matter in the long run. Unless the car has trouble trying to get into a drift, such as Glory Chaser and Rocket for instance, then you could use this on that. Otherwise, it's not very important. You'll only want to use this just to fill in slots to get the 7th skill. At least in my eyes. Lightweight. It makes your vehicle lighter, increasing the vehicle's handling, but weakens the strength of the lateral dash. This can be good as long as you don't put this on bikes, because bikes are some of the lightest vehicles in the game, and if you boost with this on a bike, and you're airborne, you're likely to fly off the track more often than not without noticing. Only put this on for cars that aren't bikes. You might bring up Power Sander from the off-road class, but that car is actually meant for shortcuts. The dash strength doesn't matter much in this game, so just go with it if you don't care about that. And lastly, for handling, we have improved dash. Well, not lastly. This makes your lateral dash strength against other cars stronger, but you'll use up more boost every time you use it. It also increases the movement of the lateral dash, which can be good if you're about to collide into a track module or fall up and can't get out of the way in time through steering. Now, this shouldn't be applied otherwise because boost is important to conserve for later in races. Yes, this can push other drivers off the road easier, but the increased strength isn't that necessary. You can do it just fine with any other car, including the bikes. And now we actually come to the final handling skill. Unrestrained speed. It's the bonus 7th skill for handling. Presumably, what it did before was to increase the vehicle's maximum speed. But now, it's basically the lightweight skill, just with lowered boosting speed. It's the same deal as before. You'll still want to go with this if you're making a build on heavy duty, off-road, and swift cars, but not with the other 3 car classes now that it's no longer a speed increase. It does still have its uses, so don't omit it entirely. Moving on to the boost skills, we have Quick Charge. This increases the speed of the recharge gain while drifting, but reduces the sharpness of the vehicle's drifting. This is actually a good skill to use, but only for drifters because their drift recharge values are pretty low, so go with this. But you also have to factor in another thing, which is drifting speed. If putting this on only, you'll also need to put on lightweight to get that handling back without nullifying the charge gain from drifting. Maximum grip cancels that out entirely. Upgraded boost. This makes the vehicle's boost more powerful, but it lowers the acceleration. When it comes down to it, taking away a point of acceleration for a more powerful boost is a really good trade-off. You'll definitely want to use this. Acceleration is an important stat, but it's not really as important as speed itself. The acceleration stat for vehicles, except heavy duty and the DLC off-roaders, can only go so far as to get your vehicle up to speed. And that's all it serves for. Lowered acceleration can be a bit of a loss, but the exchange for stronger boost is very well worth it. You will definitely want to use this just for that. Really good on rocket vehicles, the ATVs and off-road, and the bikes and Swift. In fact, useful for pretty much any car, really. Kinetic Charger. It increases the vehicle's boost charging speed in slipstreams, but lowers the speed increase. Honestly, you'll want to use this if you're closing in on any other racers and you need boost to catch up. So putting this on will be a good amount of help as long as you stay directly behind the person in front of you. You should only use this if you need to catch up, but otherwise if you are skilled enough to be able to catch up without it, then don't bother putting this on. This should only help you if you need to catch up to the other cars ahead of you, as long as they're not too far ahead. Recharging Dynamo. So what this does is that it increases the speed of the vehicle's passive boost gain at the cost of the vehicle's maximum speed. Now, unless you're like using this for niche purposes, why would you equip this otherwise? Honestly, the speed increase for the passive gain really isn't much. The speed loss is just too big and you're only going to be holding yourself back by applying this. I mean, reduced speed just for faster passive gain isn't worth it at all. Don't bother with this, like, ever. It's worthless. Control Dash. This one lessens the amount of boost you need to perform the lateral dash at the cost of the dash's movement. Again, this can work if you're trying to save yourself from falling off the track or hitting a track module like a barrier, but this one can be better simply because you'll use up less boost for the dash itself at the cost of movement. But really, it's on you if you want to use this just to conserve boost. Again, the dash power and movement don't matter too much. Phase Inverter. It switches the boost type. It will turn segment boost into free boost into segment boost. This can be important if the car has a specific boost type that you don't want on it, but it can be useful in other modes. For racing, segment boost is always better since it's more powerful. Drift Master mode, free boost is more controllable, thus allowing you to keep your multiplier for longer periods. But most of the time, you're going to be racing and you'll be using segment boost over free boost. Only use this if you need to change the vehicle's boost type at its final stage, usually for ones that have free boost. Lastly, for boost is Hyper Boost. The bonus 7 skill for boost makes your vehicle go faster while boosting, but lowers the vehicle's maximum speed. Now, this may be an attractive trade-off, but it really all comes down to how the track is designed. If the track has a lot of boost pads or moments where you have to keep on boosting, then it serves its purpose. Better with upgraded boost. If you're driving on a track where there's lots of corners, and you don't have too many straights to boost on, or not a lot of boost pads, then it's not really going to be that beneficial. The drawback is that you're going to have a slower top speed no matter what with this on. And finally, the obstacle skills. Unstoppable makes your car immune to barriers, tornadoes, and spider webs. While the spider ambush module isn't encountered very often in this game as opposed to the first Unleashed, this can be pretty useful for that, and especially barriers, because you're going to be dealing with a lot of those in this game. There are some points on specific dev-created tracks where you have to jump over barriers to keep your speed and not fall off the track if you hit them. Additionally, since monster trucks in particular can tackle those modules without any trouble, there's no need to put this on those types of vehicles. Curiaceous Armor. This protects you from ghosts, holographic barriers, ice pools, and the bat attack module. You won't be encountering ghosts very much at all on the dev-created tracks, neither with ice pools which nullify your handling and holographic barriers, though those could still be a threat if you can't get around them and have trouble getting used to their awkward positions in between. But the module you'll encounter the most for this skill is the bat attack, which, when it blows a gust of wind, any and all vehicles caught within it lose their speed. But even then, you can just use your car's boost to get through that. So if you're able to get around those modules in any way, then this won't be a necessity. Lastly, we have Adamantine. This gives your vehicle immunity to the Angry Dragon module, poison pools, conveyor belts, and the Gator Geyser jet. This will depend on your experience. Occasionally, you'll encounter the Angry Dragon module on the dev-created tracks. If you have bad judgment on when it will turn its head and breathe fire, this will work for you. Poison pools from the Hissing Snake module and by themselves are a more common encounter, but if you know how to evade them easily, you won't need this. Conveyor belts are also another commonplace encounter. If you know when the speed up strips are going to change color and can switch lanes in time, this won't be necessary. As for the Gator Geyser, really, it's an extremely rare encounter for the dev-created tracks. You only encounter it in one of the gas station tracks, and if you know how to evade that, then don't use this. But yeah, and that's everything you need to know for the matter. I hope this was informative and will help you start on your builds with whatever car you're using. And please sound off in the comments if you have anything to add for what I've explained for each of these skills. With that, thank you for watching.